and I appear before you today together with my colleague, Professor Johan van der Lanotte, to speak for Mr. Jasak. Today, we come here in sorrow. In 2023, we stood in this court in the Yasinkaya case, and we left with hope. Hope that the powerful judgment that your court rendered would restore the rule of law in Turkey and protect the rights of those persecuted without cause. But we were wrong. Turkey did not comply with your court's judgment. On the contrary, the second chamber's judgment in this Yasak case is now used by the Turkish courts to justify the same violations your court already condemned in the Yasinkaya case. And that is why this case is so critical. And that is why so much is at stake. Until now, 150,000 people, teachers, nurses, students, ordinary citizens, were convicted for membership of a terrorist organization. And last year, even 14-year-old girls were put on trial for the same reason. And all these victims have placed their hopes in your court to put an end to this dangerous tendency, a tendency that goes beyond Turkey. As the United Nations Special Rapporteur Ben Saul in his third-party submissions explained, anti-terrorism laws are used, or better abused, to silence dissenting opinions. This results in terrorism no longer being defined by a violent or criminal intent, but by association. And the mere fact that one has some kind of connection to an organization which arbitrarily and a posteriori is qualified to be a terrorist organization automatically results in them being convicted for terrorism. And that is unacceptable. And that is what we will demonstrate to your court today and what is explained in our submissions. As to our pleadings, my colleague will first focus on the factual aspect of foreseeability under the Article 7 of your Convention and thus address the questions 2, 3 and 4, the first part of the questions your court asked. And then I will return to address the legal aspect of foreseeability and thus the questions 4, the second part, 5 and 6. Due to the time constraints and similar to the government, we refer to our written submissions regarding question 1 and the violations under Article 3 of the Convention. However, first an important preliminary remark on the second chamber's decision of your court. To us it is clear that the second chamber was misled, factually speaking, by the documents presented to them, and which led to an unjust legal conclusion. As demonstrated in our Annex 3, at least 6 paragraphs in the second chamber's judgment misrepresent either the indictment or the decision of the domestic courts. Terms such as clandestine, secret, recruiting, which was also cited by the government a moment ago, appear in the second chamber's decision, while these words are nowhere to be found in the actual indictment or the decisions of the domestic court. Even more troubling is the fact that documents which were never part of the original case file continue to be added to this file by the government. It happened both before the second chamber and now also before your court. And for instance, we are now confronted with a new report of the HTS about the phone contacts and new witness statements which were not even part of the original case file and of which the domestic courts were not even aware when taking their decisions. Likewise, important factual points are not correctly presented in the government's submissions. We note, for instance, that the citations of Mr. Güllen, which should allegedly indicate or prove his intent to incite people to commit violence or terrorism, date in reality from before 2000 and were already part of the trial which was held against Mr. Güllen in 2008 and in which he was acquitted of any wrongdoing by the Turkish courts. Similarly, the government continues to refer to, for instance, the witness statement of BA, which would be, according to them, a crucial witness statement, while that was not one of the conclusive points of evidence which was taken into account by the domestic courts to come to a violation or to come to a conviction. We therefore urge the Grand Chamber to exclusively focus on the facts and the original documents as used by the domestic courts, and not rely on the government's post hoc reinterpretations of original documents, and not rely on the additional documents that were never tested at trial, but which are now joined to this case file.